He wasn't lazy. He wasn't stupid. He worked harder than almost everyone I knew. And yet, he was always broke. Always behind. Always stressed. Always chasing something that seemed just out of reach. And the worst part? He started believing the problem was him. His name is Daniel. And this story might completely change how you think about money, luck, and opportunity. Daniel woke up every day at 6 a.m. Traffic. Rushed coffee. Emails. Deadlines. Pressure. Social media showing everyone else's perfect life. He did everything right. He worked overtime. He stayed disciplined. He tried to network. He even read business books at night. But nothing flowed. Some people seemed to stumble into opportunity. Daniel stumbled into bills. One evening, after losing a promotion to someone less experienced, he just sat in his car. Hands on the steering wheel. Staring forward. And he asked himself something he had never asked before. Why does it feel like life cooperates with some people and fights me? He didn't want magic. He didn't want fantasy. He wanted understanding. That's when he noticed something strange. The rare moments when good things happened weren't random. They came when he felt different. Calmer. Clearer. Less desperate. More present. So he started researching mental states. Focus. Stress. Brain waves. He discovered something simple but powerful. Your brain operates in different frequencies. When you're stressed, anxious, and constantly thinking about survival, your brain is mostly in beta. Beta is alert. Beta is reactive. Beta is stress. Beta is survival mode. And when you live there too long, your perception narrows. You stop seeing possibilities. You only see threats. But there's another state. Theta. Theta is associated with creativity, intuition, and expanded awareness. It's the state your brain enters right before sleep. It's where insights appear. Where ideas connect. Where solutions feel natural instead of forced. And most importantly, it's where fear loosens its grip. Daniel realized something uncomfortable. He lived in beta all the time. Even when nothing was wrong. His nervous system was always on alert. Always scanning. Always worried. And when you operate from tension, you make tight decisions. You accept less. You speak differently. You negotiate differently. You see differently. He decided to try something small. Instead of waking up and grabbing his phone, he gave himself 7 minutes. Every morning. Headphones on. Eyes closed. Breathing slow. He started using a specific audio designed to help the brain shift into a calmer, more focused state. Nothing mystical. Nothing dramatic. Just a tool. A way to interrupt stress mode. The first few days, nothing explosive happened. But internally, something shifted. He felt less rushed. Less reactive. In meetings, he spoke less and listened more. And because he listened more, he understood better. And because he understood better, he responded better. 2 weeks later, an old client called him. A small opportunity. One he might have ignored before. He handled it differently this time. Calm, confident, present. That small project turned into something bigger. A week later, a friend recommended him for freelance work. A month later, an investment he had forgotten about started rising. Nothing magical fell from the sky. But it felt different. Aligned. Here's the interesting part. The opportunities were probably always there. But before, his mind was too tight to see them. When you operate in fear, your vision shrinks. When you operate in calm focus, your awareness expands. And expanded awareness changes decisions. Daniel didn't become a millionaire overnight. But he stopped feeling hunted by scarcity. He started making clearer choices. He stopped accepting things out of desperation. He negotiated better. He walked away when needed. And somehow, the more he stopped chasing frantically, the more things started coming to him. He once told me something I'll never forget. It wasn't money that changed my life. It was the mental state that changed my decisions. Maybe you're waiting for a breakthrough. A big dramatic event. A sudden miracle. But sometimes change begins quietly. 7 minutes. Stillness. Reset. A different internal frequency. If you constantly feel worried about money, it may not be lack of effort. It might be constant survival mode. And survival mode doesn't create abundance. It creates urgency. And urgency creates mistakes. Since hearing Daniel's story, I started testing that same type of audio he used. Not as a miracle, but as a mental reset tool. And honestly, I've noticed something. I'm less reactive. I'm more intentional. I make decisions with more clarity. And clarity compounds. When your internal state shifts, your external behavior shifts. When your behavior shifts, your results shift. It's not magic. It's alignment. If you're curious about the audio Daniel used to help shift into that calmer, more creative state, I left it in the description. Not as a promise of instant wealth, but as a tool. Because sometimes the only thing standing between you and opportunity is your nervous system. We're taught to hustle harder, compete harder, worry more. But almost nobody teaches you how to regulate your internal state. And your internal state shapes everything. You can keep fighting life in survival mode. Or you can experiment with operating from clarity. One creates stress. The other creates space. And space allows opportunity to enter. Maybe you're not unlucky. Maybe you're overloaded. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're just mentally exhausted. And that can be adjusted. If this story resonated with you, comment clarity and tell me, do you feel like you're operating in survival mode or creation mode?